I'm the least powerful man in Yorubaland, but I'm the most courageous, Sunday Igboho. Speaking in a viral video is the popular Yoruba activist and freedom fighter, Chief Sunday Igboho, addressing the Yoruba people in Ibadan, Oyo State, during the Yoruba Nation sensitization campaign. So he says in the video, in his words, anyone with the intention of selling the Yorubas to the politicians, regardless of their status, though they came to love Yoruba people, but is purely a deception, though they act as though they are with us, but they are the ones also planning against us in our absence. God will soon expose them. We are in a crucial time, and we, the Yorubas, ought to not to be pitted against each other. We should not be fighting for positions or title. I don't know why we're fighting over such frivolity. Once God has raised one person amidst us, it's our responsibility and as Yoruba people to support the person for the greater good. When God chose Moses, the people who are older than him are among the Israelites, yet they followed him, but we Yorubas envy each other too much. Some are not even taking us seriously. Some even said that we are deceiving ourselves, but sooner rather than later, the issues of Fulani killing, kidnapping our people shall be no more. Yoruba people don't know the extent of what they have. I am the least powerful man in Yorubaland. We have so many powerful men in Yorubaland, but we are more courageous than each other. I might be the least, but I'm the most courageous. What is happening currently in Yorubaland was foreordained by God, and all that we are doing now, we are not going back. Henceforth, everything we embark on and now, we will no longer put it on social media like we did a few days ago when we visited a traditional ruler palace and enter into the forest where the Fulanis are. Though we reveal our visit to the palace on social media, but the people we apprehend there we did not reveal it on social media, and that mission was a successful one. So henceforth, we are not going to be revealing all our movements and activities on social media anymore, and we are not stopping. And we've just begun. It is, and until it's the Yoruba people, and it's until the Yoruba people gain freedom before we stop. I think the translation might have gotten a bit confusing because according to the article, there are a lot of errors here. But obviously, it seems as though this man said it in Yoruba and whatever. But to be honest, I think, it's the courage, and hopefully that would, pass on to other Yoruba people, and, there'd be a large uprising. I think there's a stereotypical view that Yorubas are not necessarily as forward or as active in terms of trying to, fight corruption. They're very cordial people. Yoruba people, it's a good thing. It's a really, really good thing. I think that, their gentility and I think their natural sense of diplomacy really helps them. But then in a situation where I think their patience is just a bit too much, it's like, okay, if the energy you give is what you get. So for every action, there's a reaction. And so there's no way somebody would give you aggression and you give them gentility. It doesn't make sense because they will eat you up. Because then that's not effective communication. If you're trying to communicate anything, you can't be communicating two different things and expect to get, the idea or pass the message across. Because again, if the only way not to communicate is through aggressiveness, and you're trying to communicate with me with gentility, I will not listen to you. In fact, you give me the leeway to step on you and trample on you. But again, honestly, I think it's very, very good. Of course, calling out the Yorubas to basically put down any sort of envy or jealousy against each other, because again, it doesn't make sense. And to be honest, one might argue, why would he talk about the Yoruba people's faults or whatever? In the country, even the leaders don't have shame as to how they're, violating everybody. So to be honest, that doesn't really matter. But still, as a community, it's a really good conversation is starting with the view of envying each other and all that. I think, he's starting a conversation. Of course, it is striking, very, very striking. And when people actually see, and when they, so when people actually see, what's going on, and they understand that, as a tribe, we need to have this meeting because it's very urgent, especially as they'd want to, gain their independence very, very soon, because again, they can't. And obviously his statement saying he's the least powerful man in the land, but the most courageous. I understand for literary or figurative purposes, you'd say that, but saying you're the least powerful man in Yoruba land, I don't think it's tactically, except he's trying to downplay, his opposition to underestimate him, and then obviously he'd overstep that. But again, coming out to say you're the least powerful man in Yoruba land, I think it's communicated differently. So the Yoruba people, it's more as a encouragement for them to go out and stand up and fight. However, according to history, or according to information about him, his father and his grandfathers and his lineage, they're well protected. So I wouldn't really say he's the least powerful man in Yoruba land. I don't know, because with what he has been seen and captured wearing, you'd think that, oh, okay, this man has got some embellishments that you'd say, you can't underestimate it, and don't try to basically downplay it. But again, saying you're the least powerful man in Yoruba land, but then as communicated to the government, you're basically trying to tell them that, what, because these people don't have values, and so again, they might see it as, oh, what, this man is afraid, let's push it, let's add more things. And you know what, it's not going to be surprising if they do so, to be very sad. But yeah, it will be communicated different ways, in the way he says, I'm the least powerful man in Yoruba land, but the most courageous. It definitely, I mean, to his people and to the audience, I hope, except it's targeting everybody, but him targeting Yoruba people, it's obviously very, very motivating, and of course for their own fight and for their own freedom and for their own self-realization and determination. Maybe that's what's best. So I think, they're doing good. However, as you know, I'd like to direct it to the north. I think with every video right now, I'm literally going to be emphasizing on the north. So the way the south, for example, Yoruba people are starting, they've, started to have these conversations about how they're envying each other, all little issues that, that are regressive to their movement. In the same way, the people in the north should have these same conversations. Why? Because it makes sense. They should have the conversations. Why? Again, if they do want to be free and want a better Nigeria, except they want to separate. But again, if they want a better Nigeria, they'd have to do the same that the Yorubas are doing, because the Igbos, they also need to do their work, but in terms of security, they've got it really good. Put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.